Darren, a fairly short trip tonight for the fans to Wealdstone. Disappointing result 1-0. I mean, how did you see that game unfolding?
I thought we were nearly men all night. I thought we were nearly there all night. I thought the position of the ball that we had for the majority of the night, which was quite high up the pitch in the attacking third, I thought that was a good sign, especially with the shape change that we had to make. And then we never really had the teeth thereafter to produce good enough moments. I know we had some oohs and ahs. I know we had a few shots that the goalie made some very good saves with. Alfie had an excellent header from a very difficult cross, but we didn't have enough for what the position of the ball suggested we could have had. And I think then, especially when you take someone like Kellerman off because of fatigue, you lose so much of what Jim does very, very well for us in terms of his regaining the ball high, and then you've got to find another route to goal. Because what Jim does repeatedly is win the ball back high and start your attack. But when you withdraw those qualities, and you look at other players that have those qualities like Anderson and Ince, Leckie, then we had to find a route to goal through solely just our attacking play, and I don't think we're great at that. And then it makes it very, very hard to have enough punch to get the equaliser. But I thought the game was a draw. If it was 0-0 or 1-1, I don't think there was any dominance really from either side, just because of the lack of chances that were created by both teams.
You started, I think, 3 at the back, which is, I think, probably a first, is it, since your time at Woking?
Absolutely, yeah.
And was that purely tactical for this game, or was it a reflection of bodies available, or?
Yeah, qualities available, not bodies, but attributes available. As you can see with Odesina, with his athleticism, I thought it'd be really, really advantageous to have his speed when they go 1v1 with the centre forward, and I thought he did it very, very well, Timmy. And then hopefully to create a little bit more time and composure with Cuthbert and Taylor. Obviously Wilkinson would fit into that as well if we can get him to a point where he can do Saturday, Tuesday without breaking down. So we did that with the back 3, and then because Moss and Casey are crossing the ball so much now, even from a back 4, wanted to just get them high up the pitch, because Alfie Pavey is a centre forward that absolutely thrives on crosses. And we wanted to make sure that we had a route to goal through that way. So there was lots of different things. I think we needed Tunji's energy back in midfield. We needed some support up there for Armand, because he's carrying a huge burden at the minute, a huge weight of the team's attack. And I thought for the players that were physically at their best for those roles, I thought that was round pegs in very round holes.
And a word about Alfie Pavey and Tom, who signed on today. Alfie seems to grow into the game a little bit. I had a few chances and one terrific shot, which was well saved. Just the journey of them to joining the club, really. Has that been has it been a saga or a sudden thing?
Yeah, Alfie's been quite a time, maybe 2.5 weeks. That was difficult to push through, really. But Alfie, you're right, grew into the game because he's had 0 training and preparation with us, and I think the players had to learn about him as they played. And I think that is, with our injuries, I think that is what we're doing at the minute. We're trying to learn tactically in game without really any chance of preparing. So I thought he did great, Alfie. I think he's going to need 4 to 6 weeks of physical adaptation in order to get to our level of intensity. But once he's at that level of intensity with us, I think he'll be a brilliant addition. He came so close with that header first half, so close, with brilliant header. to generate the power that he did. And I thought he would, I know he will give us so much. And Tom, again, Norwich were so classy in the way they helped us and stepped in, because Saturday night, knowing that Jermaine was not going to be available and Ricky Corboa, we were down to 13 players. So 13 players from 24. So we knew that we needed to do something very quickly, and Norwich were very gracious and very, very accommodating to loan us Tom for the month, and hopefully he has a real good experience with us and it turns into longer.
Brilliant, thank you. And I mean, they're the new players. I mean, what about the established players, really? Because I mean, we all know our players, and you can't beat them for work rate and effort and spirit, and they're sort of, I don't want to say dragging themselves through games, but it's just the games are coming thick and fast, aren't they? And there's not much in reserve.
No, absolutely not. To me, it feels like the last 10 games of last season. It feels very similar to that, where we were, very, very short on fuel and energy and availability or options. It does feel like that, but every club has that period of play in their season. We're having it. We've had it since the start. To have had that 6-game run with the choices that we had. I thought the players did so well and they got through that just by sheer will and determination. And we'll carry on with that sheer will. But when I look at my biggest fear for Casey, Moss, Cuthbert, we're trying to manage Cuthbert, as everyone can see, but Armand, Kellerman, I mean, they're carrying a huge physical burden, and with the added time now added to games, we're playing an extra half a game every 3 games. So if this is what it's going to be like early, imagine what it's going to be like in March and April. So I think the players are working incredibly hard. All of the physical data is very, very high. Our centre forward runs 13 kilometres a game, so as does our left back. I think they're incredible numbers, but we are nearly men at the moment. There's no getting around it. We are nearly men. We can say we're nearly there, but we're nearly men, and we'll just have to keep resorting to that sheer will and determination in games in order to accumulate as many points while we're a little bit under strength.
And I know, knowing quite a lot of players over the years, one thing I like about older players and probably more experienced managers as well is everything can turn so quickly, can't it? You can be on a great run and it can turn for the worse, but you can also be on not a bad run, but a difficult run, and then it can turn again, can't it? So it's always looking for that. Yeah,
I by no means think we're on a bad run. We're in a specific moment where we're trying to maximise the sum of our parts.
Yeah.
That for me is a huge point in your season. When at the end of last season, when we were doing the same thing, bumbling through really, I think the Wealdstone win and games like that, the only difference was we had 70 odd points behind us.
Yeah.
So you can kind of get away with it a little bit because of what you've accrued during the season. But no season's the same. No 2 seasons are the same. So it comes in different waves. And the experienced players that we've got there have seen that. For the boys that are in their first campaign, Tunji will play more games this year, I'm sure, than he's ever played in his career. Zach Bradshaw's playing for the first time. So it's it's going to be some new and old experiences for the players. And they keep working away and we keep working away. I get agitated when we don't win the last Tuesday game and the Saturday game, because the chances it's not a nearly chance, it's a goal. And you just have to score it. That's what you have to do. The hardest thing in the game, I know, but you just have to score it. And then you're coming here tonight with 5 extra points in your pocket from the 2 games, and you have a completely different feeling, and that question is completely different. It's first defeat in 9 or first defeat in 8 or something like that. So we're very conscious of that, but Players are working very, very hard. We'll be back in tomorrow to work again. And we'll work through till Friday with our preparation for Filed. We'll probably play another couple of six-a-sides just to do our preparation, and we'll get there.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time, and there'll be a good number of fans, I'm sure, probably booked in. Oh, there's the lights gone. Probably booked into Filed, and then home against Halifax next Tuesday. So,
yeah.
Thanks for your time, Darren.
Thank you.
And have a good
Thank
rest
you
of
to
the
the
week.
travelling supporters as well. Top man.